Party 4, everybody is up. Hello, Shani, if you're still here. I'm going to listen to my own stream here to see how the audio balance sounds. And luckily, Bargain, yeah, a lot of words, has decided to take that free inspiration. But since there's no last episode, he's going to explain how it is that we got here in a mini-sode, and what the implications of such are. Go ahead.
So it all started when I was a very young boy, and no, when do you want me to start exactly? Like with what's happened in real life or in the campaign?
What's happened in real life?
Like
why?
We know where you came from. You can start with the very. Don't have to go over like story plot lines, but you can start with that. You know what? Fuck it. You can start with finding a Reddit post. I'm sticking out my tongue at you. You can't see it.
So I don't know, let's just call it a year, although it could be about 6 months, give or take. I was like, I would like to play more D&D than I am currently playing. And I went on to Reddit on Look for Game, and there were a bunch of people who were like, we need players. And I sent messages out to probably 24 of them. And Meta was one of 2 people to respond and be like, yeah, you should come play my game. And so I did. And then I loved it at the beginning, but some life things happened for me, and I ended up having to retire my character, and I never thought I'd get to come back. But then I got a job that was super cushy and allowed me to come back, and it went so well that I was like, more! And so now I'm in all of the parties, and This is our first session in Party 4 with my new character, Bargain. And also, Noah's here.
Who is now also, because Noah just said, well, fuck that. Ikarath can't be in all 3 parties. I have to be in the most amount of parties. Because he's already in party 1 and 3, and he's like, oh, fuck, nobody can one-up me. Also, I'd like to take this moment to tell to absolutely nobody, because nobody's here, but I want to give a special thank you to Dragonheart, I4 Matthew, and Puzz Ice Dragon for being the original 3 that all decided that when I said, hey, do you want to try this shit? Here's my complete lack of experience, but I think it would be fun. And all 3 of them took the risk and jumped in on trying this out with me, because I didn't know what I was doing. I just finished DPX. Well, no, it was right before DPX. Which is a charity event that I run each year. Like, I didn't know what I was going to do with my channel. I wasn't really enjoying doing speedrunning. I burned out on Mario Maker, and I didn't know what I was going to do next. And all I knew is that I really liked playing games with people. And I had just had fun playing D&D for about a year as a DM with some friends in real life and my then girlfriend, now wife. And it was not anywhere close to this, even the beginning of this. The world, they could do anything they wanted, so I've always had that core concept, and you guys can stop me if I'm boring you.
Wait, well, no, can I just say real quick that you're not kidding. Our first session when I joined for Party 3 was literally like, Meta was like, here are 3 possible jobs that you can do. And we were like, we are going to get as drunk as we possibly can. And in the morning, we're going to choose one at random and just charge up a fucking mountain, kill everyone, and come back down. And we later found out that that was like another character from another party's, that was his backstory.
Oh, yeah.
He was murdered, basically. We fucking went to a place where another party member, one of our party members after that was from, and now there are things that our characters will die if we say out loud.
Oh, that one, yeah, the no.
Like there is so much shit. My character, when he came back from hiatus, was like, I need to go all the way to the other side of this continent.
Yeah.
As fast as physically possible. And Meta was like, you can talk to Krakens. The Krakens have beards, and you get to ride them like Shamu all the way around the continent.
Accurate.
And here is a fancy hat.
That's true.
So yeah, just fucking, it's fucking,
it's different.
It's incredible.
Yes, but either of you stop me if I'm boring you. But so in that campaign, you could do anything you wanted to do, and the story would react around you, which is, I guess, is just my signature as how I DM at this point. But back then I didn't know. I mean, I had DM'd like 2 sessions of like a pre-made module once upon a great time ago. So I had like no experience going into that. I had what has now become customary, one friend, James, who was in this party, he's Glip Glub, who was my Alvin then. He's my I know how the game works guy. And so we played through that, and they were able to do whatever they want, but there was no larger story. There was no larger world. There was no world map. There weren't individual maps. It was me scrawling shit with a dry erase marker on a grid and making up the story as I go. But they went place to place, but there was never any going back. It just, the world existed only around them and what they did. It was very linear, even though they could do anything. If you went back and looked at it, it's just a straight line because there were no other options made. They made what happened. From that game had concluded because my now sister-in-law's boyfriend is a douche canoe. And that just kind of blew up everything. So I was like, oh, I love playing D&D. Maybe somebody in the Dog Pound community is still around who wants to play this game. And all three of those jumped in. J-Gigs jumped in, I think, in the second session, right?
It was either second session or third session.
Yeah, one of those two. He had to scream to get in the game. And thus our beginning of introducing characters by surprise, like Ikarath rising out of the water, like a fucking scene out of the Titanic, water spilling off of him, fucking standing on the back of a kraken with a sword raised.
Which I find particularly funny because I don't think he's ever used a sword in this campaign except for that one dramatic moment.
Yep. So,
or I mean, and history repeats itself because Shraga in the other party that we haven't talked about yet, my new character Shraga showed up because I was watching the stream and the party was stymied. They were like, we need to go somewhere by water, but we have no clue how to get there. And I just fucking messaged Meta and was like, hey, I've got a character who would have a boat. You want to throw him in? And Meta was just like, fuck it, let's do it.
yeah.
And so halfway through a session, I was like, begging your pardon, senors.
Yeah, because I think I originally sent somewhere in here because you actually missed the beginning part, though. You were only there watching because you thought we were still having joint sessions.
Yeah.
And let's see. Now let's scroll down. Where is it here? Yeah, I said blah, blah, blah. Oh, I was going to throw him in as a Paladin Lich encounter, and he was going to get to control Paladin Lich. I don't know if Noah talked to you about a possible run-in with them in his backstory or not.
Yeah, so for Dronzalva and Bargain, we can totally say that they've run into Paladin Lich before. That's fine.
So, and then he was like, no, I'm tired. And he's like, dude, I got this character. Let's do it. And as he said, we did it out of nowhere. Because that is one thing that I firmly believe that I may have. Like, I don't believe I'm definitely not as good at voices as any other DM. I mean, Noah fucking smokes my ass on that. I'm not as good at.
But I have met some DMs who you blow out of the water too. Trust me. Like
yes.
it is a spectrum, and you are soundly in the middle.
Exactly.
Where we can tell, because we can tell you're doing different characters, and you make the characters fun.
Yes.
So that puts you smack dab at the top of the middle of the pack.
Yes, but like, I can't say that I'm better than most. Like, I can't say I'm in the top like few percent for voicing, for intricate, elaborate plots that are super planned out, and or even like balancing encounters. Like, I am not proficient in any of those more than the next guy. I'm probably squarely in the middle. But the one thing I do think that I can actually hold my head high and say that I am one of the best with is being able to throw shit together on the fly and make it somehow come together.
Yeah, you blow me out of the water when it comes to that, and that's all I knew how to do when I started DMing. So, and it's been great because at the when I first started playing this, when you were only a few months into this,
yeah,
it was rough. You could do it, but it was rough. And nowadays, it feels like this feels like home. Watching you just be like. We have an entire episode where it's literally just people talking on the steps of fucking Alvin's house.
Yep.
Or somebody's like, hey, look, there's a secret door here on a map that you didn't notice had a secret door. And you're like, oh, yes. And underneath is this huge encounter that becomes the highlight of the season. And we're all like, that was amazing. And you're like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's fucking great.
Pretty much.
Like, half of the interactions that Cormal's had with crystals have been on the fly.
Yeah, because they're on the maps, like literally. And I said this way back when, as more of it just made things really easy. was if it's on the map, it exists. Now, I don't make these maps. I find these maps. I get them on Patreons. I get them all other bullshit, Reddit, when there's the map swaps, all that stuff. I find the maps, and I throw them in here, and I don't, like, specifically look at things. I don't plan things ahead. I didn't know, this fish that is now your guys' fish that Party 4 has stumbled upon on their way up the mountain. I didn't plan that. It's part of the map, and I figure out what happens. There's a broken fountain with my thought process was broken fountain. Well, there's no water under the mountain, so it's got to be magical. Spells don't last that long, so I guess a crystal would power it, but it's broken, so the crystal must be broken, and it's just a broken crystal. And Cornwall's like, mine, and I'm like, well, shit, he grabbed the crystal. What happens? And now that's a central plot point. Or the fact that the Church of Nova Stolen was part of Naxxus's backstory. It didn't exist in the beginning of the game. Rashok did not have any affiliation with the Church of Nova Stan because the Church of Nova Stan did not exist.
Yep.
And now it is the central enemy when this campaign existed as just Rakoge. All that existed was Rakoge, one city, which I don't know if I showed you this, John, but let me flip over to Rakoge, wherever the fuck it is. We now added stuff in front of it. It used to be the first map. Got fucking Dweeport. Wait, where's Oliver? Oh, there it is. Oh, I see what happened. Somebody accidentally put something on the Rakoge page, the Rakoge page marker.
I didn't do it.
Well, it was either you or Matt, so. But either way, so now I just have to go and
oh no, they went into Party 4's been in Rakoge.
Oh yeah, they have.
Oh no.
But look at this. So look, you see this whole map if you zoom out, right? Right, Bargain?
Yeah.
Okay, so now you ready? It looks like a homogeneous map, right? That looks like it's just one big thing.
You've showed me this before, but yeah,
Oh, good.
yeah. Unless you pay really close attention, this looks like it's just a city map.
Look at that. Look at that, people. I built this piece by piece.
That's the kind of shit that as a DM I don't even want to touch because it's just too difficult and it'll frustrate me to no end to get it done. And you pull this kind of shit off on the fly.
Yeah, I kind of do.
All I can think of is the one video where everyone's telling them, like, open the fridge, tell us what's in the fridge, and the guy's like, you want to know the truth?
Oh my god.
The fridge! It was fake this whole time!
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this map was literally the first map I made. It's the only map that I've ever sort of made myself because this was all that existed in the world. This was my campaign. My whole campaign from beginning to end was this city. I didn't plan for it to last forever. I didn't plan for 3 parties. I had a city, I had a cult, I had a cult leader. Rashok didn't even become thick until the first dungeon because Rashok didn't even exist as a character. Rashok was a concept. Rashok was a cult leader. And
Rashok is thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
yeah, and Rashok got thick. And now here we are almost a year later. I thought when is a year?
It is.
You know,
I thought a year later was last weekend.
Did I forget to do that? That I said
I thought you said August 14th was like our anniversary.
Let me look. It's very possible. I know that I was gonna do something, but I probably forgot that I said I was gonna do it. Oh, there's our Pure of Heart list. Current death allowed list. I don't know if you guys remember that.
I remember.
I don't know why we needed somebody pure of heart.
You were asking who we were discussing who would be pure of heart, and I don't think we've ever gotten to the reason why.
No, I think I forgot what I was gonna use that for, or it changed into something else.
Well, I mean, does anyone except Callian meet the requirement?
It's actually, yeah, not Cornwall anymore, I guess.
I
Callia,
was gonna say
maybe?
Cornwall, maybe, but
Callia?
J-Gigs has that new character. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
here it is. It's the 28th.
28th. Okay, so next week.
What is the 28th? 28th is Saturday.
It's next Saturday, not this Saturday. Next Saturday.
And that's the beginning of Party 1, right?
No,
Yeah, that was the start of.
Oh,
well,
yeah,
the
yeah.
anniversary is the first day.
The first
that,
D&D session ever from Party 1, yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm going to put a reminder here, because Andrea's busy next week anyways, so I can do that, and I already have it planned for a while. At Dice Pals, reminder, special long day 1-off session. You use your existing characters, but keep nothing and get no XP. However, you may come back with a bonus item or two to commemorate the event that can be used in the main game.
Woo!
Next Saturday, the 28th, we need a start time still. Please please respond below if you are interested and can play. We will figure out the time, and it'll be fun to celebrate 1 year. Okay, there we go. Next Saturday, sometime for a long time, whoever joins, it'll be a whole contained thing. It's gonna be a complete isekai bullshit. Your characters are just gonna get flung off into some random bullshit where we're gonna start all together. And it's gonna conclude and be self-contained single one-shot, which I've never done a one-shot before, so fingers crossed. And hopefully my plan is to make it an episode where you guys kind of encounter all kinds of things and all kinds of memorable people and encounters that from your guys' adventures through the last year, and just bring those elements back in weird and wacky ways. Like you might be an enemy in the main game, but now, I mean, Rashak could be a baker in a little village.
You know, I've always wanted to be a baker. Yes, a baker.
So,
Watch Ikarath like just have a harem of ducks.
so I'm hoping that's gonna be fun. I've never done a one shot, ever.
Can I give you some advice as someone who's done a couple of one shots that all went horribly?
Sure.
Have a lot of things planned so that way you guys can go as long as you want, but don't be ready to wrap it up at any moment.
Yeah.
Because if you have a set progress point for the plot, it'll turn into a 3-shot where it takes multiple sessions to finish up. But if you just have a whole bunch of fun shit planned and an ending you can throw in at any time to make it seem satisfying, then most people will be like, that was fun.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Perfect.
I actually kind of know what we're gonna be doing, because it's gonna be awesome, and I need to put it down in my special secret notes section that nobody but me has access to.
We're getting isekai, boys. I call being the lovable side character that's killed for main character growth.
Honestly, knowing me, I'll be the fan favorite who shows up late into the game and then has to leave before the end battle.
Okay, so you
Like,
guys...
honestly, no, that's happened a lot over the last year.
So what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna put this right here as well, and I'm gonna give everybody their shot. At everyone this time. No, I'm gonna put that so we don't clutter. We're gonna put at general ship at everyone. Just because. Right now only. Details for the one-shot anniversary episode are being leaked at my place. Because I can do that. I'm shameless. So you guys ready for this?
Oh.
So what's going to happen, and the context for this, if you don't want the minor spoilers that you're going to find out within the first 10 minutes of the episode, just jump into another voice channel right now. If you are curious and you do want the premise for the minisode, don't jump. I will count down from 3. 3, 2, 1. So what you're going to do is it's going to be isekai. Don't know how yet. We'll figure that out. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be needing to get home. You're going to find... somehow you're going to find out that the way you can get home... I'm still trying to be semi-vague. Is going to be getting something, currency, favor, whatever, from people in this village. And it's just this village, and it's on an island out in the middle of nowhere, like Astral Realm style or some shit, just floating there. With like Harmon Quest when they were in that shit and the guy with the boat came by. Like that shit. And you're just out there, and the only way back home is by doing tasks for the villagers. And the villagers will be memorable people from the last year. And the quests that they give you will somehow play off of your interactions with them in the past.
Just to piss off J Gigs, please include the NPC Starbuck, who we met at the bottom of the mountain and chased all the way up, and he was the only mage. And
God, does he still exist?
No, we killed him in the final battle.
Yeah, I meant does he still exist on the map? Because
I don't know.
I don't know if I'll have to make. I don't. His character model won't be the same, but I can definitely put one in.
Fine, but just use the name Starbuck, because that'll piss J Gigs off, because he took the Mage Slayer feat, and then Meta gave us one mage for this entire adventure, and we met him in the first combat at the bottom of the mountain, and all he did was run away, and J Gigs spent the entire, first 2 months of Party 3 chasing this one guy. We get to the final battle, and Wes kills him without J Gigs ever setting eyes on him.
Yep.
Honestly, I think J Gig should have went Sentinel, not Mage Slayer in this situation.
It's unless you're doing like an attack, like for D&D, what I've noticed is unless you're doing like specifically a group of mages, like that's what the plot and the fighting is around right now. It's really hard to get use out of spells like Silence and feats like Mage Slayer. It just is.
Yeah. I like Mage Slayer. I've used it several times before. I think the campaign I got the most use of it, though, was when I was in my the Magic War campaign.
Yeah, well, I imagine a war based on magic, Mage Slayer would be a pretty useful
it's the post-Magic War where like magic is starting to fade from the world. It's all unstable. And my character has Mage Slayer, and we're going into an organization of secret mages. And I had to get into a battle with a mage, and I just kept beating his ass because he couldn't do anything while I was in front of him. Barbarian versus Wizard. Doesn't work out well for the Wizard people.
And now the message is deleted. So nobody necessarily will know it was ever there.
Oh no.
And we will move in here. And we might end up just going right into 6. Like, just do a little, we'll be right back.
Yeah.
But that's fine. We're at the base of the mountain. You guys can see this strange and totally unexpected glowing blue lantern with fairy ring style lines on the ground with rocks in them. As you guys are eating your fish at your campsite that you've set up at the base of the mountain, after talking with Trevor Marin, of all people, because
Quick question.
Yes.
Do you want us to have been working with Trevor for a while? Like, do you want us to
Yeah.
be like contractors?
we've had
Yeah,
several-
you've
we've had
worked
several
with him there.
jobs.
Yeah.
We've had several jobs with him.
You don't work for him per se, but you do. He does hire you.
Yeah.
Yep. And this is just, and instead this time he hasn't hired you for this technically. You came to him with the rumors trying to track down, for some reason that we won't talk about, what is supposedly, according to goblins in the area, a very large goblin with brilliant white scales that your guys are trying to track down. You brought that rumor, because nobody'd heard about it except for the goblins, to Trevor Marin, because Trevor knows some shit. And Trevor said, well, I do know, but you'll have to do something for me. And Trevor Marin, because he don't brook no shit, he ain't taking no chances. He's sending 2 groups up the mountain after these fucking frost flowers. And you guys are going to bring him back to frost flowers, and in the process, try and find this goblin.
All right.
Okay, cool.
And you guys see this thing just like you see like a cold mist, a mist of cold that kind of like rolls out from it, and fairy ring rock circles around it.
Okay.
Why don't you describe your characters? We'll start with Margan.
Again, you can call me Ikrath. I know
Yes,
who
I'm
you're
trying to
talking
keep the consistency for the viewers.
about. I appreciate
Oh.
that. So Bargain is a Leonin, which in the Dog Pound D&D world, Leonin are notoriously isolated. They don't interact and mingle with people, like, at all.
They live in the wildlands.
They don't really live on the main continent, right?
Yeah, they live only in the wildlands. They are fiercely tribal. They don't really stay in one place for very long. They're very nomadic. And they're fiercely loyal to their clan, group, tribe, whatever the frick we call it, pride.
Right.
And it's very rare to find Leonins outside of the wildlands, like by themselves. Well, it's very rare to find any Leonins by themselves, even in the wildlands. It is even more uncommon to see a Leonin in anywhere on the main continents. And those who are either for some reason just could not mesh with the society, or they have been exiled or cast out. There's usually not a lot outside of those categories. Leonins are a rare sight. Like, children would stop and drop what they're carrying and gawk in the streets if they see one. A noble would be interested in talking to a Leonin and finding more about them, because nobody knows much of anything, because they don't have like written histories. They don't do that. They're nomadic. They do what they need to do, and they are definitely a curiosity in the world. So continue with your character. That's the backstory of Leonins that we just made up.
If the chat can see the chat, oh, that was to GM only. If the chat can see what I just popped into, that's my background, and it's basically made for Leonins in this world. So to start with, can you blow up my token a little bit so we can see it?
Yep, 1 second. I'm looking for where this cut off.
So basically, a Leonin is a very large, tall, sort of tiger-esque humanoid. Got sharp claws and fangs, and they're not maned like lions necessarily. They're very cat-like and feline in their grace and stuff like that. And this one is very clearly dressed as a fancy boy. Upon closer inspection, you can tell he is a bard. The only thing that's not accurate to this particular artist rendition of this, because I just found this image, is that instead of a single rapier, Bargain wields 2 scimitars named Weep and Wail. He talks quite charmingly, and he's got his whiskers grown into a little mustache. And unlike most Leonins, he has zero problem with interacting and talking to people, and performing in front of them and whatnot. Um, which is interesting because, again, Leonin typically are not friendly, let alone like talkative. But you can also tell he's not super great at he's super off compared to a normal human, um, because he probably hasn't spent his entire life necessarily around other races besides Leonin.
Yep. And Jojo,
Jojo.
who, if you were to become pregnant, would be Mojo Jojo.
All right, so Jojo is a Shodakai elf from the Elven capital.
He's been on some bizarre adventures.
He has, in fact, been on some bizarre adventures. Jonzalva is his. Jovesti is his full name. He is wears very heavy clothing and clothing that covers his whole body. His cloak covers his full head most of the time. Right now, as he is out in the wilds with the one person he trusts, his cloak is off his face. He wears gloves, heavy boots, and just trying to cover up all of his skin. He has multitudes of scars that are currently visible due to the fact that his hood is down, specifically horns on the top of his little bumps on the top near the side, near where his temples are, and a scar going down his lower jaw, going right down to the base of his neck, and acid burns on the front part of his neck. He is very timid, doesn't really trust many people when he's traveling around. The only real person he currently trusts is Bargain, and he tends to try to stay as much as he can outside most people's attention. So he likes being near Bargain since Bargain draws all the attention to himself.
And Bargain really likes somebody who's paying attention to the rest of what's going on, not just Bargain himself. So their friendship works really well in both directions.
So that's two edgelords born of two-person minisodes.
I don't know if Bargain's a real edgelord, because he doesn't necessarily wear all black and be all emo. He just plays metal.
I mean, no, I was talking about...
He's talking about the fact of Jonzalva and Cairo.
Yeah, that was a reference to Cairo and Jonzalva.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know enough about Shraga to call him an edgelord. I don't really get that vibe from him. And I don't think I get that from Bargain either, but Jojo over here, a little bit. Yo, Maddie, thank you for the 46-month sub, almost 4 fucking years, which means I have been streaming for 4 fucking years. Jesus. Wow. It's a long time. I've been doing this for almost a year now. And and this is the only time I've made it a full year on Twitch doing the same thing.
Oh wow.
And I have never, and even the stuff the longest stuff I got was I still continued on a month or two of me I don't know, this is getting really irritating and really I'm just tired of it, and I'm not even a little bit. I almost got there a little bit with all the shit with Party 2. That was really wearing me down. And I was just being kept afloat thanks to all of the complaining that I did to Dragonheart and to J-Gigs.
Meta, I know you think your best strength is your ability to put together shit on the fly, but I think your best strength is actually to get people's involved and to care about it and turn it into more of them being involved. So I think the reason why you've lasted this long doing this is because you care about it, so you put energy into it. but you're really good at getting us to care about it, and
Yeah.
seeing that you care about what we care about and putting it back into the universe and making it even better than we thought it would be. And it builds a cycle where we're constantly putting in more love and care into this world, into our characters, and you facilitate that better than most DMs I know.
That's good. That is true. But I think a lot of that too, though, is because, I mean, I genuinely care about all of you, except for some of the people from Party 2. About all of you.
But they don't watch the stream anymore anyway.
Exactly. But I genuinely care. Dragonheart, you've known me probably long enough now to at least get the feel that I will do whatever I can for anybody whenever I can.
Yes.
That is one of those, like, if you have a problem, I will always try and help you for the people that I care about. So.
And also, when people piss you off, you deal with it so much better than a lot of DMs do.
Yeah.
That hasn't happened a lot, but I have seen it happen a couple of times, and just like...
Yeah. It's very rare, but like I said, there was so much stuff, like I said, with Party 2, but as so much good was 1 and 3 that I got through it. I talked endlessly with Dragonheart and J-Gigs and came to decisions and came up with plans, and I ran through them, and I made the hard decisions thanks to you guys. And now we have 3 parties again, except for we have Party 1, 3, and 4 because that's how we're doing it. And here we are with Party 4 here today. This has just become like a nostalgia podcast. I'm so sorry, guys.
That's fine. This whole time I've been thinking about what I'm gonna do for my voice, and I think I finally got it down.
All right, so you guys are at the fire. You got really spooky cold thing that's really brilliantly glowing blue. You got some fish. You got fire. You got a tent. Matt, I would totally do a podcast. And I don't know what I would cover, but I would totally do a D&D podcast. But go ahead, guys.
My lord Bargain, I have a question.
Speak your mind, son. Let us ponder upon what reflections on nature and the world you might have.
One wonders, do you know what this frost flower looks like?
I am going to assume that it is going to be less about what it looks like and more about the amount of frost and cold emanating from it. But no, I did in fact neglect to ask our good friend Trevor Marin exactly just what we were looking for as far as what it looks like. And that, my dear friend, is on me, and I do apologize for such a gross overlooking of details.
How does it get colder up here?
I would assume that magic will be involved, whether in the growing of this plant or simply in the existence of it. Perhaps it is divine magic, perhaps it is arcane, but I do know this, we shall not fail at this task.
We haven't before.
It is what I was basing my assumption upon, that we would complete this task satisfactorily. Yes,
What?
I do not believe we have anything better to do, so
There's
we
a
can
frost
take as
flower.
long as we like.
Oh, look, there's a frost flower.
Oh, this is an easier mission than I had originally assumed. Let's go back to Trevor.
No, that's just this is just what a frost flower looks like.
Very large.
I mean, this is blown up, but yeah, this is what it looks like.
Okay.
It's supposed to look radiant. It's not ideal. I do a lot of bad art.
You're good.
One does believe in you, my lord.
It does put a glow in my heart that even all this snow and ice cannot remove.
Despite the cold, he likes it, so one enjoys it as well. Strange. One did not expect he to enjoy it.
Do you know, I have found that when pushing that yourself out of your comfort zone is when you find pleasure. For in your comfort zone can only be found contentment. It is only upon pushing oneself to your limits and finding new strengths and experiences that you can truly find happiness.
Have either of you ever watched Into the Badlands?
Yeah.
You know the one guy on the like plantation place?
The bad guy?
I think he's bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
with
then-
the accent that I'm using, because
Yeah.
that is exactly the accent. That is the vibe I'm trying to go for.
Well,
I'm
that's
just ripping him off.
Yeah, no, it sounds exactly like him. That's why I was bringing it up.
He also reminds me of. I told him this last night. He reminds me of Mr. Candy from Django Unchained.
I do declare, Miss Beauregard. Oh God, no, it's good. It's solid. It 100%. If you were going for that, you did it.
Yeah, that was really good.
Go ahead. Sorry. And that is my one weakness too. I just interject because I'm just having such a good time.
So with this frost thing, the over here, did we notice it when we set up camp, or did we set up camp and we'll be like, we'll go explore that in a minute?
Probably you set up camp and you just looked around after you set up camp and you just noticed that it's over there.
I do declare, my good friend, was that there when we first started?
I do believe it was there.
I was so
my
excited
lord.
to try my hand at fishing that I did not take in our surroundings. But knowing you to be a bit more of a perceptive and awake sort of person, I've wondered, do you know what that is?
Confirmed. Jojo was woke.
I have little understanding of said object. Do
Well-
you want one to examine it, my lord?
Perhaps together the two of us could put our mental prowess and our ability to investigate together and find some meaning in whatever that may be. Who knows? Perhaps it shall even lead us to the whereabouts of the flower.
I agree.
Wonderful. Then if you have finished with your fish, I have finished with mine.
Yes. One is complete with the meal.
Perfect. Then if we might pick our way across the ice floe here without falling in, I believe we might have a bit of a looky-loo. And with that, Bargain will stand up and I'm assuming he caught the fish in the river, so he's got some idea of where the ice is strong and where it's not. Do you want me to make some sort of check to get across the ice?
Yeah, sure. Perception, +3. Sorry, I was adjusting audio. Yeah, you... Also, there's these rocks sticking out. But you can choose this option. You manage to scramble across the ice. Also, that's a cliff. You'd have to climb down first.
Okay, do you want like an acrobatics check or something?
Well, either that or you can try and jump. So basically, it's like this.
I mean, whatever makes sense for the character. If he would hop to the rock in the middle and then hop across like that, that's what he would do.
Oh, that rock is way down. For those rocks, you'd have to be over here. I guess, yeah,
Okay, well,
this
I mean,
is a scale.
if
So
an
this rises. You, if you look at the lovely illustration here, are like, you're that's further away, but it's like this. It's like this. And this is, you can make a jump like this. Or you can go hip, hop, hip, hop, hip, hop, hip, hop over here. Or you could go like here and try and walk across the ice there.
I mean, probably just walking across the ice or hopping where he is right now. Bargain is a straight line as the crow flies kind
Then
of
he
guy.
would probably want to jump. So there's a rule for that. I don't know it. It's like this is 10 feet. You get automatically your strength 10. What is it? Your strength bonus? I don't know. 5 plus your strength
Something like
bonus.
I think whatever the rules are, this is not.
You can
It's only 5
automatically
feet. I think
you can
we can-
automatically clear your strength
Okay, you can automatically clear your strength. How much your strength?
as long as you have a running start.
16.
Oh, then yeah, you can just jump it automatically by running. Boom.
Perfect.
I imagine you do a tuck and roll as you come across.
Something like that. It looks very feline, whatever he does.
Yes. Like a cat with a ball of yarn. And you feel colder.
I do believe the temperature has dropped over here.
Do you believe that
In life
there's
after love.
a frost flower over there?
I do not see signs of such exotic vegetation, but if a frost flower does put out more cold than the environment currently has in it, then it is possible that over here will lead us to a clue. I'm just talking out my butt. I have no idea, honestly.
One will cross to join you.
And I am going to spend 2 hit dice to mutate my body.
Okay.
And I'm going to activate digitated limbs at max power. This makes it so my legs are now more athletic and more a lot quicker. So I have double. I can, as long as I have a running start, I can cross double my strength.
Okay.
Which
It's
is
very
16
important that you do that. I love it that you have to do that here.
And I've strengthened my legs at the same time.
Yeah, no, I love that you have to do that. I am very proud of us.
Here's the top of that. This also means I'm able to clear 32 feet.
Yeah, that's easy.
So you
I imagine you just go woomph.
just land right there.
You just go fucking Thor style.
And my speed
No,
is now
Incredible Hulk style.
my speed is now 50 until I deactivate.
It is
these
much
things.
colder down here.
Strange effects here, my lord.
That is a wise and astute observation. But let us investigate whatever the fuck this is. And he walks up to the thing.
As you're walking towards it, it is getting increasingly bitterly cold. The closer you get, you start to feel your fingers go numb, and you can see your fingertips starting to frost over. Do you continue?
Yeah, I think. Hold on, let me private message you something.
Yes, you can do that.
It has gotten very quiet.
Hush, my friend. I am thinking.
Of course, my lord.
Go straight. Go to just jump to present. Come on, there we go.
One does.
Okay, so you get this close before you feel that.
Okay. What can I see? Should I make like an Arcana check to see if I can figure out what and how this thing works?
You can roll an Arcana check, yeah?
Where is my Arcana button? There it is.
It's whatever it is, it's far beyond you.
Squire, do you happen to have a knowledge of the arcane? For whatever this is, seems to have escaped my knowledge and capabilities to
Sounded
reason
like
out
such a
what
dick
it
way of
might
saying
be.
that. I'm sorry.
That's fair.
One can examine, my lord.
And John Zalva will get close enough to be able to make an Arcana check.
Okay. Your fingers have frostbite. The tips of your fingers.
All right.
Luckily, I'm pretty sure he can just make new ones after these ones are done.
Yep. Can I make an Arcana check?
Sure.
All right. I don't think I know much more than you do.
You get the sense that it's primordial magic.
And after learning that, I'm gonna back up.
One detects primordial magic, my lord.
Huh. I do believe this has aroused my curiosity. I do
One.
not think I have had too many dealings with primordial magic.
One has received frostbite to do this, my lord.
Oh dear. Then perhaps we should return to the fire and ponder what to do about this, and one of the options being to just straight up ignore it.
Shall one regrow their fingers?
One should do as one is most comfortable as doing.
If fingers grow black, I will amputate and regrow them.
That sounds like a stellar plan.
And John Zalva will leap back over to the camp.
John Zalva can do that because John Zalva has that mighty leap. Bargain cannot do that because of the height differential. I mean, you could try and grab onto the ledge and then haul yourself over. I'd let you try that.
Before he does, hold on.
And this is why we have music.
So this thing is magical, correct?
Oh God, it is intensely magical.
High-powered magic, right?
Did John Zolva? Did you tell him anything about what it was?
I told him that it's primordial.
Yeah, it's
magic.
primordial.
Yeah, then I don't think I would try anything on it. So what about walking across the ice right here? You said that was an option
You
earlier.
could totally
Can
try
I-
that. Perception.
I don't even. Perception.
Yeah, you're able to carefully scramble across the ice.
Cool. And he'd just walk around back to the campfire and just be like, well, shall we break camp and pursue frostbitten flower?
It would be wise. If problem arises with my hands, I'll cut them off.
Perhaps you should take a moment and try to warm some life back into them before we leave.
All right. Do
All
my
right.
hands remove thine frostbite?
Yes.
And in the future, I might point out that if I ask you to do something that becomes immediately detrimental to your health and does not involve, I don't know, life or death situations, or at least keeping one of us from harm, you are fully excused to say, no thank you please, this is causing me pain.
One has saved. My lord has saved one's life. To disregard a request from you would be fealty.
Oh, then this is my current and overriding request is don't accidentally hurt yourself in an effort to please my curiosity.
As you wish, my lord.
West side. John.
I just threw up the gang sign.
See, that's why we need to start getting. I just need to start shipping out everybody cheap ass webcams, and we just do a webcam for everyone.
I bought a webcam, I think it was 7 years ago at a garage sale, and I didn't use it until Corona hit. And it works fine, but it's like 20 frames per second.
Yeah, I would legit if I checked and everybody was like, yeah, I would do webcam, but I don't have one. I would literally like ship out like $30 webcams to everyone who needed one to do it that way. So, but that's a weird thing to ask people, but I would totally, that would be so cool.
It'd be fun, yeah.
Getting to see all the people doing their things, and then we can do all the hand things, and like, you know, you can see each other, and because you can't see you like making the West Side sign.
Yeah.
We need to see those things. So you guys have climbed up the mountain.
Oh shit!
you-
I've got to do something.
You totally did not skip anything between where you were and where you are now.
No.
Actually, no, you're not here. I got a better idea.
Oh, we're not here anymore.
Sorry. I decided I wanted to put you elsewhere because there are things you need to see.
I had a comment I was about to say, but I'm gonna revoke that comment I was about to say.
I know what I wanted to skip, but I skipped too far because I'm building this on the fly and taking stuff out as we go.
I was gonna ask a question why there would be a structure up here towards.
All right, so you're here.
All right, let me redirect myself out again.
And you see an ice bridge suspended over rushing water with pieces of ice in it. And you can see chunks of it broken off. This is my favorite bridge.
This bridge seems damaged. Any ideas, Lord Barrigan?
I do, in fact, have an idea. Tell me, how emotionally attached to gravity are you? Because if you do not mind taking a small vacation, I do believe I can minimize the danger to yourself while attempting to cross the bridge.
One feels needles in feet at all times. Having relief would be of most... would be very nice.
Then come here and take my hand. And Bargain will walk up to the beginning of the bridge and then cast Levitate on Gonzalva.
Okay.
And then he will very cautiously attempt to cross the bridge while Gonzalva floats above him, and he'll pull him by the hand, like balloon.
Does that work? Does that spell work like that?
Yes, you can choose a target, a creature that, as long as they don't weigh more than 500 pounds, and with all the equipment Gonzalva's carrying, plus his body weight, I am under that weight. So
then that works.
Now, the only bad thing that's going to happen is that if I fall into the river, I'm going to need to, like, try to throw him, which I'm prepared to do because he's thought about this before. Because if I hit the river, I'm probably going to lose the shock check on concentration, and I don't want him to also fall into the river. But if I give him a good shove if I start falling, then he should be able to make it across the bridge before I fall into the river. And Bargain's being very gingerly and doing the thing where he puts his foot out in front and like tests the bridge before he goes across it. Unless it feels like totally solid, in which case after a few feet of doing that, he'd just be like la-di-da and waltz across.
Yeah, so you make it across. It seems solid. You can walk across if you want to. Also, I'd like to make a quick announcement of something we've made today.
Okay.
So, because we're moving to a milestone soon, that 25 XP viewer reward isn't going to matter that much. So that's going to go away.
Yeah.
But in place of it, for 1,000 points, you can one time per each viewer can do it one time per stream. Players cannot give it to themselves, but you can give one loot point, and those will at some point be valuable for something.
Loot points.
I am so glad I turned my stream on every session, and I have over 10,000 points right now. I'm gonna loot everybody the fuck up.
So
Every session, I'm just gonna be spamming out loot points until I fucking run
You
out.
get a loot
That
point.
sounds a lot
You
more
get a
useful
loot
than
point.
hurricane dabs.
Yes, also, what's also really cool about it is viewers can also give you guys for just, cool roll. The intended, I should probably put that in there, but the intended use is for cool shit or good performance.
I have 31,000 points. So
Let's go to do that. We've made a lot. We've not done a lot today, but we've actually done so much today.
Well, and we've established Bargain and Jinzalva's kind of relationship and how it's working, which I'm glad we did that because it's slightly different than what I was expecting it to be.
what did you expect?
I didn't expect you to be so what's the word, obsequious?
I know what you're saying. I don't know how to
expect
pronounce
you to
it.
Serve. Yeah, I didn't expect you to have such a servant attitude towards me. But it makes sense because I'm a bard and usually the center of my own world, so.
Yeah, Jonzalva calls you Lord, but when you're doing your other stuff, he will pay attention to everything else. He's just he asks you questions since you've been around for. You've told him you've been around for so long.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So, John, you got a loot point from Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
We don't know what they get cashed in for, or when they get cashed in, or how they get cashed in. I didn't really think that part through, but at some point they're going to be cool to have.
I'm going to add to my character sheet a player resource called.
Here, you
Loot
get another
Points.
one, John. Take another one.
Yeah. You get to go to my favorite place, one of my favorite places.
Do?
Yeah.
I don't. It's been so long since I fucking gave a gift. I don't even remember how to fucking. You just click there.
What? Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's the little bone icon.
That's for Dragonheart.
Dragonheart gets a thing too. And since it's per stream, when I stop this one and start it for today's Friday session, that'll be reset.
We have more. More.
So bottom south of the map.
If you don't like the way I'm running Jinzalva,
No. It's great. It's just I didn't think it through when we were talking how it would be.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be much more enriching and fun to roleplay than I thought. Because what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go Jack Donaghy to Liz Lemon on Jinzalva. Where he thinks he's going to teach you how to be a successful person. But since he doesn't know how to be a successful person, it's just going to lead to a lot of lecturing.
Yep.
All right. Well, I'm glad everybody is getting along, because the whole thing that I always hope everybody in this game does is always, if there's something that sucks for you, fucking tell somebody. Tell somebody to tell me for you anonymously. I'm sure there's lots of people. Dragonheart would probably tell people things for me, I'm sure. He's a good person.
Ew.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh!
And Matt redeemed 2,000. Oh, what am I shouting out, Matt? I don't. Am I shouting out Dragonheart's channel?
No, don't.
I don't think John has one.
I don't even have a Twitter, let alone a Twitch.
That just sounds like you've got issues.
Yeah, I know what to do with my free time.
No, I meant like as physical things.
Oh.
I got Twitter.
That's
Twitch.
fair.
That's what I meant.
I turn a little on Twitch.
No, so Dragonheart's got a good channel. He does DnD. I've seen some of it. This motherfucker's in there too. He's knockoff Bridget from Game of Thrones. Or whatever her name was. And they assaulted a castle one time. I saw it. I don't know what's going on.
That was the attacking a pirate fort, trying to save an important person for the leader of the Blackbeard Armada.
Oh yeah, that was my failed kamikaze run.
Yeah.
You know nothing. And now another channel shout out. Find a way to shout. John's just a good guy. John's a person, and we're gonna have fun. He's been around for however long it's been. He does a wonderful array of accents. He plays very great characters, and I was so incredibly happy the day he messaged me and was like, "Dude, guess what? I can play again." I'm like, that's fucking awesome because I loved your fucking character. It was amazing. And that became the start of some of the best I think you were the first mini-sode. Was there any other mini-sodes, Dragonheart?
I think he's the first mini-sode, and then there's a mini-sode followed up immediately after. There was a mini-sode because we did the one thing with me and Jordy. We did that in session.
Oh yeah, so yeah, you were the first ever mini-sode.
Makes me feel special.
And what a mini-sode it was.
Dude, so much got jam-packed into that.
Yeah, but we don't have that recorded. Maxis, that was in the way back that doesn't technically exist, but it exists commemorated in the story thus far. I don't know, John, have you watched those?
I don't think so. I'm terrible about keeping up with the other parties, which is one of the reasons why I was like, well, then maybe I should just join so I know what's going on.
There you go. But if you were to like...
It's not a great workaround, but it works.
But what I would say to do is, instead, because there's so much episodes, you could never get through that in any reasonable time. But you could get a good general background if you watch only the start of the playlist that says the story thus far, because it's basically a 15-minute video about from when a party started to the point when the parties came together in Safe Falls, which is where like the recordings begin. That you are the first recorded VOD that's been put up, actually, your mini-sode.
Okay.
And then you have all the rest, but if you watch those 15 minutes, it's just me talking, no, somebody else talking, because I got somebody from each party for each one to do it in character. And it's just a 15-minute recap of most of the story.
Nope.
Meddadog on YouTube, viewers. All few of you can watch on there if you ever miss an episode. And now, because we are completely running out of time, but I've had so much fun, we are here at this place, and there is this big, amazing set of fucking crystals sticking up out of the ground.
Formal, no.
What? Sorry, force a habit.
And you see a white, cold fog inside of this.
One finds this place appealing.
I do find that most curious, Squire, as the cold... It seems to hurt you, but you seem to enjoy it.
He enjoys it. Therefore, I enjoy it.
Friend, you know I respect the manner in which you speak, but right there, I must admit, I lost track of who you were talking about. Am I the he in that subject who is enjoying this cold, or are you the he in that subject?
Remember, he is the one within me.
Ah! Correct. Because, like, honestly, all this snow and whatnot, I could take or leave. It simply is.
One has not seen this type of weather before. It is mesmerizing.
It does have a certain charm to it, I will give you that.
Shall we seek what this fog is?
Let us inspect, for perhaps inside the fog we shall find our flower.
As you get closer, it gets colder.
As I expected.
One may have to cut off one's fingers.
One should possibly just stand back. This is not the desired outcome.
One can regenerate his body.
But one does not need to.
Very well.
Perhaps this is a lure in which to, take our concentration away from our surroundings, and there's an ambush plan. So perhaps you should just make sure that we don't get attacked while I investigate the fog.
One will examine the area.
Perfect. And with that, Bargain will just gingerly kind of.
You can get
Here
to
in-
about here before you get to that point of where you're about to get frostbite because of your resistance.
Right. So at this point, can he like peer into the fog and try to see if there's a flower in here?
There is no flower as far as you can tell, but we're gonna go with that is obscured by super duper dense and heavy fog.
I think that would be as helpful as I was hoping. For a bard who's supposed to be a jack of all trades, I really don't have great spells for interacting with environment. I just don't.
In a game that's all about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I built this character to be a specific thing.
Yep.
And that thing
Is
a
good.
great character,
Oh yeah.
just not for trying to figure out what's inside fog.
Nope, not at all.
Just in case it works, I'll try that, but I'm expecting it not to work.
Roll your spellcasting stat. So like roll a magic attack. So if you have like an attack spell, just roll that.
So here's a fun fact: I don't.
Noah, how do you
let me-
roll a spell attack for a bard?
I'm just gonna
D20 plus whatever your.
I'm just gonna build one real quick with.
Okay. Yeah, for some things where it's like, this is.
Oh, wait, no.
Powerful?
That was the wrong stat. That was intelligence, not charisma.
Okay.
So that should be a +6, not a +4.
So plus 2 more, so a 13. No, don't do shit.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Does does my lord want one to burrow underneath it and see if it is warmer and easier to approach?
Yes, that in fact would be a wonderful plan. Please attempt this.
One will do so.
And for description, you would see sudden Zonzalva pulls open his shirt so that it is exposed, and as I activate the mutation, arms pop out of my lower torso, and there are now digging arms where there was none before.
Oh my god, I just realized something. This is how we're gonna do it. When people show up is when their characters show up.
Oh, that'll work.
Or if they show up after the start at 6 is the start. People were lagging behind because they overslept on their way up the mountain. That's what we're doing. When they're just gonna roll in. Let's go.
Have we met any of them before?
No, we
Did Trevor send us here to meet them specifically?
No, you guys don't. You guys both. We're gonna give them a little. You know, there's another party coming up that you are slightly ahead of.
Okay.
So
I'm going to at party 4. At party 4. Also minor retcon. Trevor told you there was another group slightly ahead of you that you were to join up with when you caught up. Now that's the thing that you've been told. You've been told that there's a second party that will be following after you shortly. Well, likely. He doesn't know for sure. He hasn't talked to him yet when he talked to you. but he said that he had some others in mind that he was going to get together for this. And don't count on them, but if they show up, they're there to like join up with you.
They are also looking for a frost flower for Trevor.
Yes, yeah, everybody's looking for the frost flower.
I will now proceed to dig into the ground and get underneath this area that we're trying to get access to.
All right.
I have burrowing speed equal to my movement, so I have 50 feet of burrowing right now.
Okay. So, Cool Demon, starting at 6 o'clock on the dot, your character is able to walk in as if they were just approaching here and seeing something that's going on. Did you get the retcon notice?
Yeah.
Okay. So at 6 o'clock sharp, your character can walk in. And that's the same for anybody else. Anybody who shows up late will walk in when they walk in.
All right.
Like they fell behind, tied their shoes, had to take a piss, whatever. So you're trying. So okay, we're gonna play another game here.
Another game?
So you are digging here, and you get to like here. And before you get to that point again where it's gonna cause frostbite.
My lord.
Well, you're in a
What is
you're
that,
in a
my
pit
squire?
right now.
You are very far under the ground, and I cannot hear
Yeah,
a
this
word
is a
that you're
two-dimensional
saying.
plane, right? This is
I
a two-dimensional plane.
I pop out of the hole.
My lord, cold still exists beneath the surface.
Did Trevor give us any like indication of how we'd know when we found the frost flower?
He told you what it looked like.
He didn't tell us like exactly where it could be found. He
Said it was at the
over
very
in-
top of the mountain.
Oh, so it's not going to be here because we're not at the very top of the mountain.
Correct.
In that case, then he would just be like, I do not believe we should put our health in danger to merely take a peek inside whatever this cloud is hiding. Perhaps it has its own reasons.
Very well.
Oh, wait, no.
One respects your wishes, my lord.
And again, remember, my wish is for your continued health and happiness. But also, like, feel free to do whatever you need to protect me.
Of course. Then further up the mountain we go.
Let us proceed. And I would like to remind you that perhaps in your culture, when one's life is saved, that incurs some sort of a debt. But in my culture, when one saves one's life and then that one in return saves the other, then we have reached a level of friendship akin to brotherhood, but on a different bond. It is more of a brotherhood is in an association of choice, where we choose a bond to be more significant than blood relations, but also it makes us equal. So if you can pull that off, things shall change.
One understands, my lord.
Then let us continue up this icy domain.
And at this point is where we break for the next episode. Perfectly, because that's when people are going to walk up on you guys just about to leave this place.
And there's a massive hole being dug out from the ground.
Yeah, look how good this hole is. This is super good animation. Look at this right here. This is art. This is such good art. Have you ever seen that?
Fantastic art.
Look, and see, look, it's even got lines that tell you that the tunnel's going this way, and it's like dug out like this, and it's like, yeah. And then it gets darker over there. This is totally a tunnel and not an astronaut from Among Us.
And to give you the idea, that tunnel is big enough for people to walk through comfortably while standing up. So.
And with that, we will be back in literally 1 second, because I'm going to end stream and restart stream because it's going to separate these two things. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you will stay here for 1 second and refresh the channel. We'll be right back.